There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
Now, we all know Memphis Audio has had a reputation of bringing fun to the party, but what can be more fun than not only having great sound quality, but now let's raise the volume with some pro audio gear. On today's CMA Connected, we've got Nick Lomonaco in the house to share with us a brand new product in the pro audio line. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM, Memphis Audio, and it starts now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and on the menu this week, it's all about pro audio. Now, I, for one, can tell you, I've been learning so much from these brands about what that pro audio market truly is and where it's going and really the potential that it has. So, of course, my job is to make sure that you guys, the dealers, have all the information you need so that you can qualify your customer, and maybe, just maybe, that customer that you've been kind of puzzled about is actually, in fact, a pro audio customer. All right, to start this show, we're going to go to the Montreal headquarters of Automobility, who are the exclusive Canadian distributors for Memphis Audio in Canada. We have two guests joining us today. First, we'll head to Mr. Steve Colombe, who's their product manager. And at the same time, we'll bring on Phil Cameron, their product specialist. What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I know that you guys are kind of in the same boat as I am when it comes to this whole pro audio thing, us being up here. Let's be honest, it hasn't completely, exploded yet, but we have seen a couple of places where pro audio is certainly starting to become more and more influential. I'm going to start with you, Steve. Would you agree with me? Probably motorcycles, that category that seems to be where pro audio has gained some traction.
Correct. Yeah, in the last few years, especially with the situation we know, a lot of people had some money to spend on their toys. Pro audio was a category that we saw an increase in sales in all of our brands that we supply. And honestly, I think it's a growing market. We were at SEMA last week, actually 2 weeks ago, and there was a lot of pro audio stuff going on, especially with the Memphis.
Well, I'll tell you what, in our little preamble here, I can already tell you guys, stick around. There's a lot of new product on today's show, and it just kind of shows you that Memphis is kind of dedicated to this category, which they've found great success in. Now, Phil, how about you? I know we talked about this. This is kind of new, right? Pro audio. What's your take on this whole pro audio thing before we even get started on the products?
It's actually very, very interesting. It's a trend that's been very popular in the US for a while now, and we're slowly starting to see it happening here in Canada. And a lot of our dealers have reached out to me after SEMA, after they saw a bunch of that stuff. So I'm looking forward to learn more about this pro audio stuff, and it's very interesting.
Very, very cool. Well, from what I heard, I'll share with you what I've learned so far. There's a customer that wants that sound quality, closed environment, controlled environment, kind of like trying to best reproduce what they have at home in a 2-channel system. But then there's other customers that have vehicles that might not have a top, that might be open air, that might want to be the life of the party, where volume might be the number one, important feature that they're looking for. How many times have dealers had a customer that wasn't a question of budget, but they just kept on blowing tweeters or kept on blowing speakers, and they want the best? Well, maybe, just maybe, you haven't been giving them the best category of product. And this is where this whole pro audio thing comes in. I think there's a couple different conversations to be had. But to do that, let's go ahead and connect with Mr. President of Memphis Audio. He's been on with us before. He is definitely the most stylish man in 12 volt. That's his moniker, and I'm sticking to it. Nick Lomonaco, welcome again to CMA.
Thank you. Good to see you, Ben. I'm glad to be back.
I would be remiss if I didn't immediately point out the bling that you have on with the matching, I'm going to guess, Versace-esque silk shirt that you have going on.
It's real Versace. They designed it specifically for the SEMA show for us. You know, I think this is at least $4,000 or $5,000 a piece.
Very best.
For these shirts, yeah.
And is that sublimated, that Memphis logo is sublimated into the pattern of the fabric?
Yeah, into the pattern. I mean, Steve was at SEMA 2 weeks ago. I think he can confirm that we were the best looking crew by a long shot in the whole building. That included the booth models and everything. I mean,
so now most LED lit products, and now best dressed or
absolutely.
Most stylish. Fair enough.
Most stylish, yeah.
I
mean,
I'll be honest. I was kind of disappointed. I was expecting some LEDs within that shirt somewhere, you know, on the collar, or I think, you know.
We saved that for the product. All right.
Gotcha.
Very good. Very good. Very good. And Steve, I understand that you might be as bejeweled as Nick is with that gold chain. Have you had the honor of receiving said gold chain?
We got that honor. Yes, Memphis provided all of their distributors customized, real, fake 24 karat gold chain.
Nothing but the best, right, Nick? Nothing but the best for your dealers.
Nothing but the best.
Nick, this is an interesting one for us here on CMA. Pro audio as a category, you know, from an American perspective, obviously has been something that's been around for quite some time. You as a brand have had time to adapt, and evolve in this category with a really nice selection of product. Can you share with us a little bit about the evolution of this category from a Memphis perspective? Like, how did it get to here? Do you remember when it began?
Yeah, it began probably 8 years ago, I would say. We started dabbling in pro audio products, mainly for our Latin customers on the border towns. Started to grow some popularity, but then as you guys kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show, people started to realize we could make it sound pretty good, and people that just wanted to have loud music in their car. The best sometimes to a customer is loud. And so especially over the last 3 or 4 years, it's evolved to, hey, wait, let's make this sound good, and look good, as opposed to just, I mean, to be honest, our first speakers were very similar to a home audio entry-level pro cabinet speaker that we put in a car. That was probably the first rev, and then little by little, each time we would redo the speaker line, we would get more specific to the car, tune it specifically for in-car applications, as opposed to, you know, just a standard home or outdoor pro audio speaker.
Can you speak to any credence of the example that I've given of how dealers sometimes, without the right education or knowledge of product, may be qualifying the customer to the wrong type of category of product, depending on what the customer is looking for? Do you have any experience seeing that firsthand?
Yeah, I've got a really good example from a few months ago when I was in Utah, traveling with our salesman in Utah, and there was this beautiful lowrider Impala, 30-inch wheels, hydraulics. He spent thousands of dollars on the paint job and the gold flake everywhere, and he said he wanted the best. So my installer there, the shop, does great custom work. He had sold them on VIV speakers, and although that's the best we make for sound quality and most accurate reproduction of sound, it wasn't what that customer wanted. That Impala's top was never going to be up. It was always going to be down. I mean, his car was louder than my shirt, so without any music on. So he wanted to be loud with music. And so he was a Mojo Pro customer, switched him to Mojo Pro, and that guy was like, oh, that's the best. That's what I wanted. He thought he had got VIV, and he's like, no, this is the Mojo Pro product. This is what you wanted. And the customer was, you know, tickled. And then just 2 weeks ago, right before SEMA, I was in a shop here in Southern California, and it was a brand new 21 Chevy Silverado, like some giant edition, lifted, all these accessories on it, and he wanted the best. Well, he wanted the best to be loud. So, I mean, when I was there, they're putting Mojo Pro components in the front doors in the factory locations with mini Mojo subs in the back because he wanted that bass, but didn't want to take up a lot of space. So, it was very, very, every time I'm out in the field, I see it more and more. It's like Pro Audio is just normal speakers now. People want that in their car. Not before it was, let's add 6 mids to the door. Now it's, hey, if we just add a component or 2 mids to the doors, we can get stupid loud, and that's what they want.
Amazing. So, we're pretty excited. You guys obviously unveiled a couple new products at SEMA just recently. Hopefully, you're going to be able to show that to us today. I know between you and Phil, you've got some products in hand that you'll be able to show off a little bit. So what we're going to do, Steve and I are going to take a back seat. We'll bring up this presentation that you've prepared for us, Nick, and we'll put on the Phil and Nick show. We'll be back to discuss.
Thanks. All right, everybody. Well, as Ben mentioned, we've got some new stuff, and both Phil and I have some stuff in hand. You can decide who's the better Vanna White between the two of us, but we'll get you educated. So first up, we're going to start with new product, go into some existing product, and then end with new product, just like a sandwich of new product and existing product. So up first is our brand new Mojo Pro amplifier line. So while we're on this show today, Pro Audio is becoming more and more popular, and we know that requires big power on the full range and big power on the subs if you want to have that balance, because you do have such loud highs. So we've come out with the Mojo Pro amplifier line. Right now it's only 4 amplifiers, but we're working on more. This is the 800.4. So this is a 200 by 4 full range, which matches up very nicely with a lot of our Pro Audio speakers, and virtually anybody's Pro Audio speakers for that amount of power. And it is, of course, bridgeable if you need even more power. And then we have 3 monos, 1,000, 1,500, and 3,000 watt. So here is the 3,000 watt mono, which price compared to the competition is pretty ridiculous. I was very excited when we did get these built, and we're able to price them where they're at. So very nice fit and finish. And if you do notice that we went kind of with the old school look on the amplifiers with the Memphis orange, and all the monos are strappable as well. So you can get a lot of power in the mono block with these, and they match up perfectly with our subs and mid ranges, whether it's Mojo Pro or SRX Pro, or if you're silly and buy another brand, also those brands as well. So very excited. These are going to be in our warehouse by the end of the month, and so they'll be up in Canada probably by the start of the year. And speaking of subwoofers, moving into our Mojo Pro subs. So these aren't necessarily a Pro Audio sub like a mid or anything like that, but what these are designed to be loud, boomy, to pair perfectly with our high output mids and tweeters. Anybody's high output mids and tweeters. This is 750 RMS, 10, 12, or 15 in dual 2 or dual 4. We have Phil showing it off for you there. Again, we know the people in this category like to be loud, so we got the Memphis orange on the M up front. Nice aluminum basket that matches the speakers. So very very sexy old school looking sub that, I mean, it's just loud. I think everybody that's played with this sub loves it, and as you can see there, even though Phil is super strong, it's a pretty big woofer to move around.
Yeah, thank you for the compliment, but this thing is heavy.
Yeah, if you see there, we have the direct voice coil venting there, so it vents right into the voice coil gap, keeping it super cool, better for frequent response and for reliability. So yeah, this is the perfect match for all of our mids to be able to keep up with that high end or the high output full range. All right, thank you, Phil. So moving on next to our Mojo Pro mids. So these are the high end of our two levels of pro audio mids. So we're looking at 125 RMS on the 6.5, 200 on the 8, and then 250 for the component set, which you see right here on camera with Phil. The component set comes with the 25 millimeter bullet tweeter. As you see there, the nice aluminum basket matches the subwoofer. Really cool mounting on the tweeter. You know, you can use that on a motorcycle, just knock out the gauges. Very simple to use. People love that mounting. Our first tweeters didn't have mounting like that, and we do listen to our customers, and they said this is the mounting you need, and that's what we moved to. This is the exact set I was mentioning I saw installed a couple weeks ago in a brand new Silverado. All of our mids come with the grill, which again everyone says that they like. So kind of the old school pro audio grill there. And one thing we did with if you see the Mojo Pro line here, is we keep evolving, keep trying to work and move with the customers, with the market of pro audio. And the front of that used to have a phase plug, but now it's got a sealed dust cap, and the front half of it is treated to be water resistant. So this can fit in a fairing. This could go on a boat. We started hearing customers wanting to put pro audio on boats, and so that's why we went with the Neo magnet for weight and size for motorcycles, and also for weight and size to really be able to put it anywhere with that water resistant front half of the speaker being water resistant. So that's just a way, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, how this is evolving, and every time we come out with a new generation of pro audio speakers or come out with a new line, there's a rhyme and reason to it, a separation between our high-end Mojo Pro that can work in a boat, a motorcycle, car, and you know, with the added cost, you get the benefits of the smaller magnet and the water resistance. So very, very cool way to show how this category is evolving for us and for the industry. And here's a bigger look at the two tweeters. So Phil had the 25 millimeter that comes with the component set also by itself. And then we added the 35 millimeter tweeter this year. You can see the difference in size there. Again, our customers were telling us they wanted a bigger, louder bullet tweeter. And so we gave it to them, and it is loud. Definitely screams. I heard a Jeep, I think, that had 3 pairs of these in the dash. That was pretty ridiculous. Very, very loud, but they had it tuned right. They got a lot of mids in it, so it sounded good, but it got loud. All right, so that's the Mojo Pro line. And then here's a picture of the components that Phil just had up there. And then next up is our SRX line, so our street reference pro audio. So the first ones that I'm showing you here, this is our two-way mid with our horn-loaded tweeter. This comes in 6.5 and 8-inch currently. So you're looking at 125 for the 6.5, 175 RMS for the 8. Again, with that bright orange tweeter flange on there to be loud, like customers in this category like to be. And listening to our customers, this will fit in a motorcycle fairing. We designed it specifically, the basket and magnet motor structure, to be shallow enough to fit in a fairing, because again, our customers are asking for it. This does not have the water resistance, but it'll be all right. Just probably not riding in the direct rain all the time would be best. But this is another example of how our product has evolved. Our first round of street reference pro audio, they were loud, probably didn't sound the best. Now people are amazed when we demo these products, especially if we're at a trade show or have them in a car in a factory location, and people are blown away, like, oh, that's pro audio, and we're playing it at normal volume levels, and then we go, yeah, check this out, and then we crank it, and everyone's impressed when they hear it because it does sound really, really good. So we have the two-way coaxial comes in a 6.5 and 8 currently, and at SEMA we just launched our 6x9. So adding that to the mix, again, sounds incredible. Fit in a lot of factory locations, so a lot of Chrysler products. I've been seeing our 6.5 or 8s being cut in to put in 6x9 locations, factory locations. Now we have a 6x9 to fit there. We've been, our customers have been asking for a little while on this, but to be honest, COVID's kind of slowed down some of the development. It took us a while to get there without our engineers being able to get over to our factories and really work on stuff. So it's a lot slower process, but very excited. This was in the Shaquille O'Neal slingshot at SEMA. A pair of these were on, 28 speakers were on that machine, all pro audio, and these were on there. Sound awesome. So these will probably be available right in Q1 time, probably when they'll be in stock by the time it starts to melt up there in the Great White North. All right, and then here's the shot. Did you have any of these on you, Phil, or not? No. All right, we'll blame
Unfortunately,
Steve
I
for that.
don't. I apologize for that.
It's Steve's fault. It's fine.
Okay, let's blame Steve.
I'm fine with that. So this is our current street reference or SRX Pro mids. That's what the mids and the tweeters look like, and then that's of course a picture of the component set. They do come with the grills, so never have to worry about ordering grills. They do come in the box. The SRX tweeter is a little bit bigger, but sounds incredible. First, people were complaining how big it was, and now they just love it and able to fit it, figure out where to fit it, because they want it in the car. So really really good line, especially for the price point. I mean, these sound way better than what they should for the price. And in new product news, our SRX Pro is going to be evolving to have LEDs, because as we were talking pre-show with Phil, I mean, we have determined that just by adding LEDs adds 3 to 5 dB of output, and Phil confirmed that, and he is a very technical guy.
At least.
So
at least
3 to 5, sometimes more, depending on.
It's Canadian dB, so we know it's better, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the translation is a lot different from. I can only imagine how many dB that is down here in the U.S. It's got to be ridiculous. But I do have. If you could pull me up, hopefully it works. There's a live look. That's a 6.5. So we have the nice glowing dust cap, and again, this rev sounds a little bit better than the last version. And I'll check off the LED real quick so you can see what it looks like. Gray dust cap otherwise if it's not on. So these will be out Q1 as well, transition, the V2 versions of this current SRX product. So the 6.5, 8, and then if you go back to the presentation, you also see the biggest speaker on the right there. That's a 10. So we are adding a 10-inch mid to the line, which we previously did not have. We had this in the 6.5 and 8, but not the 10. So 4 ohm, 250 RMS, 10-inch mid. We had a couple of these on the slingshot for the first time on a vehicle at SEMA, and they sounded incredible, and they got loud. We had a good time with that slingshot, and also got to drive it to Shaq's house in Vegas after. So driving down the strip and then driving about 20 minutes to his house with that blast, and everybody everywhere was looking. Even the people picketing for some reason were excited when we drove by. So very excited about this product. Obviously, if you've seen me on presentations before, you know that I enjoy the LEDs. So adding LEDs to this line, I mean, why not, right? Everyone, if you don't like LEDs, number one, you're boring. But number two, just don't wire them up. So you'll miss out on that 3 to 5 dB, right, Phil?
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Well, along the lines of the new LED SRX component mids, we have the Memfuego box. So this has been an evolving name, but we have settled on Memfuego, which is obviously a combination of fuego, which is fire in Spanish, and Memphis. So instead of Enfuego, it's Memfuego. It's very important because this box is fire. It is awesome. If you've been in the audio game for a while, the full range box is nothing new to the game, but it hasn't been around for quite some time. Some of the original car audio boxes were full range boxes like this. So this is 2 of the SRX Pro 10s ported with 2 tweeters, and if you see there by the picture, everything lights up. This is 500 RMS, 250 by 2. You kind of see the terminal on the back there. It's got a left and right, and of course the LED plug to light everything up. When Steve comes back, he can comment. We had this blasting on active demo at SEMA, and everyone was blown away not only by how loud it was, but how good it sounded. And if you see on the back as well, we added a handle. We did some research, started taking it around to some of our customers. They're like, as soon as some of them were like, I don't know what's going on with that. Other people in the northeast part of the U.S., this is a super popular item. They use unloaded boxes and they load it. They load it with other product, our product, other brands, Pro Audio product. But there isn't many people making a box like. Well, there's no one making a box like this with the LEDs. It sounds like this. There's a couple of people that have dabbled in it. But we added the handle. The guys we showed like, oh, well, I don't have this in my car. But then I also wanted to be able to put it outside the car or throw it in the bed of my truck while I'm at a show or tailgating or whatever
right?
that may. Yeah. And that's another reason why we thought about making it powered, but it's much easier to manage speaker wire than it is power wire and signal wire going into a box. So I personally have used this tailgating. Actually, I was in Stillwater, Oklahoma. There's another brand that's there. We want to talk about that, but we had the loudest tailgate system in the parking lot for sure with this one box, and it was super fun. People in Stillwater were a blast. Everyone enjoyed it, taking requests and such. As more beers were consumed, everyone started to yell for it to get louder, and we didn't disappoint. I don't think we ever went, oh, that's as loud as it gets. And even though it's large, I do have one with me. If I can pick it up. So there we go. You can see, hard to see with the backlight exactly how much it lights up, but rings around the speakers, the tweeters, and then of course the dust caps. Super cool box. You can throw it on your shoulder, old school style, But this is, I believe, going to be a very, very popular piece. In certain areas, some people are gonna throw up a question mark, like, oh, do we need to bring this back? But the answer to that is definitely, especially once you demo this. So even someone who's maybe not fully on board with the fact that a full range box needs to come back, once you hear it, once you put it on the floor, you're gonna sell one because it sounds incredible, and it is definitely a party in a box. So I know Phil's gonna have one in his car and probably in his office as well.
At least one.
Yeah, at least one. So yeah, we actually talking to a couple of the Automob guys that were down at SEMA about putting it on their boat for their TV system on their pontoon boat. I'm like, there's the opportunities are endless for this box. So very excited about this one. Hopefully, again, this will probably be one that'll be getting Automob right about when there starts to be a little bit of melt. So it'll be ready just in time to start partying when you're maybe a couple degrees above freezing at least. So, all right. Well, we went decently fast, but that's my presentation. Went over a product. So bring back the.
Well, first of all, Nick, congratulations on all the new product. That is exciting news to finally see some of these new products. I know you've been talking about some of this stuff for a while, but now to actually see them in their final production form, congratulations on that, first and foremost. Definitely had some comments about some of these new products. The first one being, basically, if I understand this correctly, Memphis has two grades of pro audio equipment, one in the SRX and one in the Mojo Pros. And it's truly Mojo Pro is a step up. There's no, it's a better and best situation, correct?
Correct. Yeah, both in sound quality and also feature set, with the Mojo Pro having the Neo Magnet and the water resistant front half. Like, those features make it quote unquote better, more versatile than the SRX, and there is some more expensive components and more engineering time that was put into making the Mojo Pro just sound a little bit better.
All right. Well, it's good because now you've introduced the Mojo Pro amplifiers, which obviously match up really well with the drivers as well as the subs. Is there an amplifier in the SRX line that matches up with those drivers as well?
To be honest, with the similar power handling, the Mojo Pro full range amplifiers will match well with the SRX Pro. But for the most part, I mean, our SRX amplifiers, we do have a 4-channel that you'd probably want to bridge it to a 2-channel to get our the 8-inch or the 6x9 moving. But all of our amplifiers, like currently our VIV 600.4 was used most frequently on all of our pro audio stuff because of the higher powered on the 4-channel.
Okay. Another note I wrote down here. So are these components, because you did show component sets, right, of 6.5 with tweeters, and Phil had showed that. Are these components also available a la carte individually?
Yes, everything's available individually, and then we do sell it as a component set, both the Mojo Pro 6.5 and the SRX Pro 6.5. We sell it as a component set with the 2 mids, 2 tweeters, 2 crossovers, but everything else is available a la carte. Mids.
That's really good for system building. That's why I was just asking that question. Okay, so it's not just you can mix and match the tweeter with whatever driver you want, basically.
Absolutely, yeah. So a lot like what our customers do, they stock the component for those customers that they are doing factory locations, dropping it in, and then they stock the individual components to be able to add on maybe 6.5s in the door, add another set of tweeters in the rear, whatever they want to do.
Here's my question. Like, are these guys are building these systems with these type of components? Are they like actively powering their drivers and their tweeters through DSP and all that stuff? Or is this straight, like, very basic stuff? Use the amp, put it through the passive crossover. Like, what is the trend right now with this type of gear?
I would say it's still probably the passive, put it with the crossover, put it, maybe set the amplifier. But we're starting to see, even without DSP, starting to see a lot more people go full active just because it's easier to get the power and tune each individual component. But that truck I mentioned, that was a full DSP system with the Pro Audio in the front and the Mojo Mini subs under the seat in the rear. So it makes it really easy, especially our DSP being super simple to use. Going active to tune these mids and tweets it makes sense, and it gets the most out of the product. It makes it sound that much better because you're limited by the signal. When you have even a badass speaker, it gets limited by the signal it gets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I guess we didn't mention too much in here, but obviously all these pro components are ridiculously efficient as well. I mean, that's part of the whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, like they're all 97 and up, I think, 95, 96, 97.
Because what I've seen is a lot of guys take like one amplifier, but they'll drive like multiple sets of speakers on the same amplifier because they can, basically, with this type of setup.
Yeah, we had like the slingshot we had at SEMA that I mentioned, 28 total speakers on it. I think there was only...
Did you say a slingshot with 20 speakers on it?
28 speakers.
Where do you fit 28 speakers on a slingshot?
Well, it was a stretch slingshot. It's a 4-seater slingshot because it's for Shaq, and he's a large man. So there's definitely more real estate with stretching it to 4 seats. But there's speakers everywhere. I mean, just everywhere.
Inside, outside, yeah.
Well, I was going to go to you, Steve, since you were there and you got to play with some of this stuff. Can you help describe to me the sound that these kind of pro drivers make compared to traditional car audio?
It's loud. I mean, it's the sound quality is still there, but it's, we experience it in the marine. A lot of brands use those compression horns to get the maximum range. On those weight cans, and in the car, it's just you're sitting right there. And
I'm curious about okay, hold on. This is my question. I've been meaning to ask this, and I have yet to ask anybody this, so now I'm going to ask the question. The whole point of pro audio is to reproduce live sound. You go to a concert, it's live, it's pro components that you're listening to right from the stage. But at a concert, I'm not a foot away from the tweeter. I'm, a significant amount of space, an area between my ears and the speaker. Put me in a car, I've got a bullet compression horn, arm's length from me. What is that experience like, and do I need to go to the doctor to fix my ears afterwards? I'm curious.
Well, you can if you want to. I mean, it's the option is there if you want to go to the doctor. I mean, if you want to blow your eardrums out, it's completely doable. I mean, I've got spare time, but no, it's again like you mentioned with the DSP. If you're going active from the amplifiers, that's what really makes it. Depending on where the tweeter is, I think I see a lot of Jeeps. They have the tweeters down firing, and that's how they can put 4 in and not rip your face off. Maybe 2 up, 2 down firing, just to. But yeah, it does require some tuning if you have it like in the door, factory location, pointed, right here.
Like I could see example in your SRX series, you have the coaxials, right? Whereby there's a little, you called it a flange in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to put that, let's say I did in a kick panel installation, a single like that, I could see that being very reasonable. You get volume, but not overkill. But the other set where you're selling the components with the bullet tweets, I mean, that's going to be loud. Especially the bigger one. Was it a 3-inch? There was a bigger one. Yeah, a 2.5 and a 3.
Yeah, 35 millimeter.
You can see it's loud. You can just.
It looks loud before you even turn it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the good thing is though, to your point, we do our best to make those mids efficient and loud to keep up, and then we have subs to keep up with it as well. Some people just want all the mids and they don't want a lot of bass. I don't get that, but some people
I've been
do.
told that in an open air concept, the bass is hard to disperse. So you're going to focus on all your mid-range frequencies, right?
Absolutely. That's what we talk about on boats as well. Motorcycles, you lose some of that mid bass, so we focus on the highs. But when you do have an enclosed environment, when you do still want that pro audio, that's why we came out with the Mojo Pro subs to keep up with those highs. And when there's a lot of output, even when you're moving, you're still going to hear some of it when they're stupid loud.
Very much so. And I'd be honest. To be honest, I've been seeing a lot more of the. I'm going to call them hybrid systems. What I mean by that is, let's say we're talking about a Tahoe, like an SUV. So inside the SUV, it's really geared for the closed system. It's still pro drivers, but it's modest, right, for inside the cabin. And then they have subs. But then when you open the trunk, now there's back-facing sound with big bullet tweeters and lots of mid-ranges, and that's when they want to show up at a tailgate or a party or something like that. So I call it a hybrid system. No, I don't know if they're at a point where they're switching on system A and B or whatnot, but that's what I've been seeing as a trend. I've seen a lot of the SEMA vehicles kind of have that same concept.
Yeah, we've done that with a couple of vehicles. We've done that on some of our side-by-side show vehicles as well. We just kind of have an inline volume knob, a level adjustment that you can easily get to. You flip up the tailgate and crank the signal back up. So that's what we're seeing, especially down here in SoCal when you go to car shows or see guys that do have the. I was down in Mexico a couple of weeks ago or a month ago and see a car with 24 mids in it between the 4 doors in the rear, and they have volume controls in different spots to blast different parts of the system. That's a little bit overkill if you ask me, but it still looks cool and sounds like a full concert stage in one vehicle.
100%. So Steve went there. He talked about Marine for a second there, and I said, you know what? I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. I seen some pictures come from coverage from SEMA, and I noticed there was a new, very interesting looking can from Memphis. I wanted to get more detail. You said, yeah, but Ben, this is a pro audio show. I don't care. Tell me about it. I have you here. What is the buzz on this new can that's coming up from Memphis?
Well, you've been mentioning concert, when we're talking about pro audio, so I guess there is that connection there. Uh, with our tower speakers and virtually every other brand's tower speakers, uh, almost all of them have a version with a compression horn in the mid or in the cam, and that's to be able to get the travel, the disbursement, and the output for when you've got wind blowing through your across your ears and you're on a boat or you're on a rope wakeboarding or surfing. You got to project that sound just like at a concert because not everyone's right in front of the monitors. The stadiums are way far back. And I was talking to our head of product development and I said, every concert that's outdoors, every single one has a line array. Every one. There's big line array of mids and tweeters everywhere in a big concert outdoor because it enables them to project with a lot of output, but also control width and height and expand the music so you can hear it. It's coming from here, but you hear it all the way here. You hear it all the way to the seats in the back as they go up. So I'm like, why haven't we done that on an outdoor speaker for ours? And he's like, I don't know. So we started looking at that about 2 years ago to bring the line array concept of a concert outdoor audio system and brought it to an 8 and 10 inch tower speaker.
Is that 4 tweeters I see across the front?
That is 4 tweeters right across the front of this 10-inch.
Very interesting. So hold on. Questions. So what kind of tweeters are those, Nick?
They're PEI tweeters.
So they're not compression.
They're not compression. They're standard PEI dome tweeters. So the advantage of that is they're going to be a lot better sound quality because we are talking about compression. We are making compression sound better, but there's no way to make it sound as good as a regular dome tweeter. It's just they're going to sound better. So with the 4 tweeters on the 10, 3 tweeters on the 8, that gives us, we don't lose any output. We actually have better output than a compression horn. Same dispersion up, down, left, right, but with way better sound quality. So because we don't have that compression driver. And then, of course, my camera's not working well, but the back lights up. The M gets rotated however you want it. Everything lights up on this speaker here.
Were these? So these were on demo at SEMA, right, Nick?
Correct.
Steve, did you hear these?
I don't remember. I heard the box, the Fuego.
You probably lost all hearing after that. Don't remember hearing anything else.
Steve had a lot Steve might have had a lot to drink in Las Vegas that kills brain cells.
See. All right, I'm sorry I asked the question.
What
was the feedback so far on these guys? Very unique, innovative design for sure. That I can say.
The feedback has been incredible. I mean, I actually had a couple of competitors come over and go, "Wow, those things sound amazing." A couple of advantages in addition to the better sound quality on the tweeters is we got a fully sealed dust cap here. So you're gaining efficiency in your mid because you don't have that rubber gasket between the mid and the compression driver in the middle. You got a full cone, a fully sealed dust cap. So you're going to move more air out of your mid. So you're going to get better response, more output out of your mid, better sound quality out of your tweeters. And it's fully waterproof now. I mean, it's impossible to make a speaker with a compression horn in the middle waterproof because water can get into the back of the compression.
So longevity as well.
Yeah, longevity as well. We didn't need to, because of the smaller magnets, we didn't have to worry about neo magnets, so it's regular magnets which last longer. And yeah, there's more airspace. There's less components inside the can, which gives us more room to tune with more airspace inside the can itself.
Very cool.
But yeah, so this is the 10 with 4.
That is very exciting. Very, very exciting. Congratulations on that one as well. Now, I have a comment coming in from social. If I can get our director to bring it up, it's from a gentleman by the name of Dennis Cosby. He was just commenting on the amplifier remark I had made. So he says the Memphis 6-channel Marine would be a good fit for pro audio as well, especially in the Slingshot or side-by-side or even Jeep. In addition, the larger 2 channels have a volume control. Can you speak to that, please, Nick?
Yeah, so our 6-channel marine amplifier, as you've heard me talk over a million times, most of our subwoofers now, our marine subwoofers, have selectable voice coils. So in our marine line, we don't have a mono. We don't have a 5-channel. What we do have is a 6-channel where the rear 2 channels will give you 300 by 2. So full range. So you can either use those for subs, or you could use them for tower speakers, or you could use them for pro audio speakers. So with that staggered power, you could use that 6-channel to power maybe 2 components on the rear 2 channels that require more power, and then you could have other mids and speakers, even pro audio speakers on the front channel. They're 100, 125 by 4, and then you have 300 by 2 on that amplifier. So it gives you a lot of power to be able to power a bunch of speakers, even 2 sets, like you said, with the efficiency of the speakers. You throw 2 sets on the 2 pairs on the larger 5th and 6th channels, and then just maybe even 2 pair bridged on the front 2 channels. That'd be a ton of power. And even though it's marine, it doesn't look. It'll be fine in a car. Just more
Obviously,
waterproof.
yeah. If it's good enough for the boat, I'd say it's good enough for the car. That's for sure.
And it has
Finally, I just wanted to comment on the Memfuego, El Memfuego. So this brings me back, like just seeing an image of that box right there. I'm not going to ask you to hold it up again, but that box right there brings me back to the very beginning. I mean, I remember trying to build a box like that back in the day and trying to use home/pro drivers to make it happen, and running into all kinds of problems with impedance and so on and so forth. It just didn't work very well. But now with the technology and the fact that you've added LEDs, Nick, I mean, really, is there a reason not to have one of these in the back of your truck?
There isn't. There is no reason to not have it. I mean, as soon as we get one, I'm gonna wire one up for having my car for absolutely no reason except for whenever I want to be able to pop the trunk and just be stupid loud.
How much power would you need for that? What was the recommended power for that?
It's 250 by 2, so it's a 500 RMS box. So really.
So wait, you can run it on a mono?
You can't, or you could if you had a full range mono, yeah.
If you had a full range
mono. Yeah. But I mean, it's ideal for, our 400 or 500 watt 4 channels. Just bridge that would be perfect mix for it. Yeah, and actually, you mentioned bringing back my office in Memphis. Actually, there's a Voltron ad from when we were still Voltron. With these guys almost in a pasture with their trunks open, and they've got the full range Voltron dual 8-inch with tweeter angled wedge box, on the ground behind at a picnic. Terrible ad. I don't know how anyone sold car audio with those ads.
Oh man, I wanted to do an episode just reviewing our industry's worst ads in the last 30 years. But anyhow, there's some pretty bad ones.
I would single us out, but I remember I've seen an MTX and a Rockford ad as well that was just.
Oh, everybody's guilty. Everybody's guilty.
They're just like they've got their their glass of tea in the basket, and we're just sitting at the park listening to our awesome full range box. Like nobody did that, but
yeah.
Everyone decided to put it in an ad.
I think with this box, it's one of those things that you didn't realize you needed until there was one available.
Absolutely, and the people that we've shown. I mean, we saw this in the Northeast, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, even. No one goes to Delaware. I don't know what's the Delaware of Canada. Like
I don't know.
It's terrible.
I don't want to get hate mail, so I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, sorry. Delaware's awesome. First state in the U.S. The very first state. Awesome. So much to do in Delaware. No, but a lot of people, even when we're showing it around the country, they said, "Why do we need that?" But once they hear it, they're like, "Oh, well, if I put that on the floor, I'm going to sell one." I mean,
exactly.
You didn't, like you said, you didn't know you needed it till you heard it.
Till you seen it lit up, and you're like, "What's that?"
Yeah, exactly.
This would be perfect for my little tailgate.
I know I need 2, so
there you go. Because I mean, even in Montreal, imagine you had a pickup and you show up at an Alouettes game and you're playing that, like you're the party for sure, 100%.
Oh, for sure.
That's just what it is. All right, well, I've done my rounds, Nick. So I want to say thank you for coming in. Congratulations on all the new product. I think it's going to be wildly successful. Lots of great innovation there, and nobody can hate on you for A, your LED addiction, B, your bling, and C, your Versace good looks.
I appreciate that, Ben. Thank you so much.
Take care, Nick.
A huge thanks to the Memphis audio sewing department.
Yes, huge. Guys, let's wrap this up. We're covering a lot of gear that, let's be honest, is going to be new to a lot of our Canadian dealers. What's the final message that you have, Steve, for dealers that might be tuning in?
Well, we've covered a lot of categories this year with Memphis. We've been dealing with them since 2021. And for the dealers that are not aware or that are not used to see Memphis back in Canada, well, just contact our sales team and about the best sales force in Canada will help you out.
That's good. Philip, you get to play and touch and unbox all this stuff all the time. What's your final word on this Memphis gear, whether it's Pro Audio or everything else?
I know I've said it again, but everything that I open to demo, I keep, right, Steve? Everybody heard it. You said yes.
It's
Thank
done.
you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Memfuego box. Looking forward to that. This is
that's fun in a box. That's a party box.
Oh yeah,
that's a party.
It is a party in the box, and it looks good, and it lights up.
It's
loud.
I think there should be a promo like first 50 Memfuego boxes sold receive a gold chain.
Yeah, but it's real fake gold.
Real fake gold chain. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Or a shirt.
Make sure that it's written the
or the
prints,
shirt.
Right?
The shirt would be nice.
I want a shirt.
There you go.
I'm down for a shirt.
But Steve, when you wear the shirt, it's 4 buttons down, right? Open.
Always.
Very good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in. Team Auto Mobility. We'll talk to you on the next one.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Bye, Ben.
So if you're interested in more information on all these great new Memphis products or to check out the entire range of products, because, man, they have a heavy catalog, check out memphiscaraudio.com. Everything's on the newly designed website. And you might want to click on this little tab on the top that says new products. All right. And if you're in Canada and you're looking to become a new dealer for Memphis Car Audio, go ahead and get a hold of the folks at Auto Mobility. You can find them at automob.ca. So a couple days left, and I have to remind you, well, first and foremost, we have one more day of Pro Audio sessions. I want you to keep it locked here so you get all the info that you need to know about what's happening in Pro Audio. We'll be on until November 17th with a different brand every single day. Tune in at 12 p.m. noon. You have less than a week to sign up for this mega contest that we worked so hard to put together. It's called the MasterTech Expo Ultimate Fab Giveaway. 2 lucky winners being selected and chosen at random to visit MasterTech Expo All-Inclusive. Register for free at cmanetworks.com/giveaway. That's all you need to do. Less than a week, and we're drawing the winners, guys. So make sure you sign up. And while you're on our website, make sure you check out all the great Memphis audio videos that we've done so far, along with the Auto Mobility playlist on cmanetworks.com. It's where the 12-volt industry connects. That's it for this CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Stop it. Yo, roll it down. I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?